from a man I interviewed in the slums of Calcutta, Manoj Singh. Again, I just want to be clear, I do not romanticize the lives of the poor. I've spent too much time with them and seen their stress and hardship to want to ever trade places with them. And yet I also think that, that we should not write them off because there are valuable lessons to be heard from those who do not have money. Manoj is a rickshawala. This is his house. It is not a very nice house. He lives here with his sons and his wife. There's no ventilation. You know, there's no running water. There's open pit toilets. There are wild stray dogs around. There's a single hand pump for water that 100 families use. They have to stand in line sometimes for a half hour, 45 minutes to get a pail of water. This is what he does for a living. He's a hand-pull rickshaw rickshaw puller. Calcutta is one of the only places left in the world where they don't have bicycle rickshaws or you know, some other form where people are actually doing essentially kind of the work of animals and just running along. Now, the average life expectancy of these guys is quite low. I think it's somewhere in the 50s. They live in a very congested area. They have often bad lungs. They don't have adequate nutrition. They get abused sometimes by their passengers. They'll hit them if they're not going fast enough or if they get stuck in traffic. And he makes $7 a day. He actually, or $7 a week, I'm sorry, $1 a day. He actually makes $2 a day, but he has to pay $1 in rent for the rickshaw because he doesn't own it. And if he ever misses a day, and in fact, the day I got to interview him, he had a fever. That's why he wasn't at work, so I actually got to talk to him. So he missed that dollar that day. And then the next day when he went back to work, he found his rickshaw chained up because his landlord was punishing him for missing the previous day. So that week, he actually only made his $5. And in the thousands of interviews I've done with people all over the world, this was the first time that I ever just put my clipboard to the side and said, how do you do it? Forget the 1 to 7 scales and the numbers and the metrics, the statistics. I can imagine giving up. Is it just that you're in such desperation? How on earth do you do it? And he smiled at me literally like I was a child. He said, I feel like the richest man in the world. I feel like the richest man in the world. He said, I have everything that's important to me. I have these 2 young sons. Sure, I worry that they're going to grow up in poverty, but we eat breakfast together and I enjoy it. I come back in the evening and they come running out to greet me. Dad, Dad, did you bring us candy? And they have this expectation that I might provide candies for them and they just want to be with me. And how can you not feel wealthy if you can appreciate that? And I think therein lies the lesson from Manoj. Not that somehow we shouldn't work against social ills or poverty, but rather the feeling of being rich, the fact that you're a filter for your own experience. The feeling of being rich is in many ways equal to being rich. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time. I believe we have some time for questions.